Sup, my name is Ryu for TheCouncilNetwork. Welcome back to the channel if you're tuning in from after the Supergirl review. This is the Gotham Season 3, Episode 4, New Day Rising episode discussion and review. There's a lot going on in this episode, and it's mostly about the Mad Hatter. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Mad Hatter, but this episode really got me involved into the story arc a lot better than it typically would. In continuity-wise, it felt a lot more solid than a few other episodes. But let's get into it, because there's tons of shit that went down this episode. So, Penguin gains powers, tries to gain power as he narrows in the nomination for Mayor of Gotham. Meanwhile, Gordon turns to Alice into the GPCD for the bounty, because he's still bounty hunting. Also, Bruce and Alfred race to find Bruce's doppelganger after he's assuming Bruce's identity. There's a lot going on in this episode. And remember how I said last week I wanted more Corey the Owls? I like what they did at the end. But in case you don't want to be any more spoiled and you have yet to see it, go see it, then come back. Because we want to do it that way. So, I want to start with the Penguin thing first. I love how people are behind Penguin only because he's scaring out monsters. They totally forgot what happened in like Season 1, Season 2. This crazy, psychotic bastard. It's like, we're just going to forget about all that because he got out the monsters. I love that. Not a bad thing at all. Him winning, and winning clean, because he was paying people off. He was having Butch pay people off. And Riddler just pretty, well, I call him Riddler. I know that's not his actual name on the show. It's Edward Enigma, but he's pretty much the Riddler to all of us who have watched Batman or read Batman for long enough. You well as hell know that he's the Riddler. So point intact is the Riddler just basically sits here and goes, you know what? I'm going to reclaim this money because trust me, it's going to be great and you're loved by everyone, which I thought was an amazing kind of twist, because I swear to you, I really do think they would probably shoot the Riddler just to kind of prove a point, like, hey, why the f could you do that? You could have cost me the whole thing. But again, it's kind of one of those moments, it feels a little bit weak, just in the sense that everyone's behind him, but for the story purposes, let's see where they take it. For the Penguin arc, because I call it the Penguin arc. His arc during this season, I want to see where they take it. I'm going to sound like I'm hating, but one of the weakest things in this episode is the doppelganger Bruce. And our actual Bruce, the one that's going to become Batman, is so concerned that if his doppelganger, very end of the episode, kissed Selena, and if Selena knew it was him, like, really? I guess that's something a teenager would care about if he had interest in a girl. Yeah, that is. More importantly, though, I like how the doppelganger is wanted by the Court of Owls, and pretty much, like, they're the ones who funded him to be born. Now we got some kind of that mystery lifted a little bit, and the Court of Owls just being more important. Obviously, the main story was, of course, the wrap up to the Mad Hatter and Alice, because that needed to happen. Alice is a metahuman, but unfortunately she meets her end at this episode, which I thought was a little controversial because I wasn't expecting it. And I did like what they did to the police captain. I want to know what happens, because it seems like the whole monster thing is not just quite over yet. He's going to mutate to something. It's going to start off slow, and it's going to hit big. Basically, to elaborate a little bit further, Barnes, it was affected by the blood, and he's the one who's going to end up becoming a villain, which I don't really know, because it's like, hey, we're just going to kill him, and maybe he'll just die. Who knows? I want to say that Bruce's doppelganger, because I was listening to interviews from the cast from New York Comic Con, and basically, I don't think he's Hush. I think he's Thomas Wayne Jr. Hush, if we phrase it that way. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. My theories on certain things, especially with something like Dragon Ball Super, went out the window, so I don't really even like to speculate anymore, because they make me feel stupid when they just, like, they pull it under you. It's the whole thing like with Zoom last year. It's insane. I don't even know what to think anymore. I did like this episode, and I still don't really care for the Mad Hatter. Now it just makes more sense why he's so obsessed, is because Alice died. And he did have some fucked up thoughts about his sister, and that's why she ran. She bucked out of there. Because he just pretty much wanted innuendo with her, let's phrase it that way. And it's not a good thing when your fucking brother has crazy ideas like that. I mean, seriously, really? Really? It's just one of those things. I know they did say that we may end up getting Man Bat later in the season. I'm hoping that becomes a thing. But I gotta say, Barbara. Like, okay, here's the thing. In the continuity of Batman, Barbara's mom, if I'm not mistaken, her name is Barbara before she obviously splits with Gordon. Gordon raises Barbara, the daughter, by himself. How do you go from the psychotic woman to get back to that whole, space of the continuity, or maybe they'll just do it completely different? I don't really know. It drives me insane. I think they're just having fun with her character right now. They wanted to make it more than just the damsel in distress. I'm cool with it. Let's see where it goes kind of thing. I like how Jim ran back to her and he had to let go of Lee to break from the Mad Hatter's, spell, if you want to phrase it that way. The biggest thing, though, in the episode, like I said, was the Mad Hatter losing Alice. And the way Alice died was messed up. Because she just, got, the spike of death. I was not expecting that to happen. I thought, that, okay, when she fell, that was it. There was no way they're going to say, oh, she survived or whatnot. I knew that was going to happen. But the spike of death, that I was not expecting. And that was a good call, because, again, I wasn't expecting it. And it just pretty much says, here's a metahuman. We're going to completely write her off. And that's why the Mad Hatter looks for, girls that remind him of his sister. Because he was so obsessed with the idea of her. Because he could not have her. It's a sexual thing. It's weird. But it is what it is. So my biggest thing from this episode is, like I said, the captain is just sitting there infected or something. We don't know. I love these cliffhangers, but at the same time, they drive me insane. Getting the Court of Owls at the very, very, very end to just kind of lead more smoke into, you don't know what's here yet, but we're putting smoke in front of you before you can see the full puzzle. I like the idea of it and the build up because I want to see where it goes. Gotham was fantastic, so was Supergirl. We're 2 for 2, man. We're 2 for 2. Raw, don't screw this up. They totally screwed it up. But we'll go into that later. I just want to quickly say thank you guys so much for listening, watching, and whatnot. If you enjoy the content, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more. Anyways, I'm going to give this episode an 8 out of 10, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Till then.